secret lingerie. You weren't sure what had possessed you to buy it. The little bag from Madame Malkin's was discreet, charmed to keep the contents private, but it felt like it burned a hole through your palm all the way back to the burrow. You'd meant to buy a replacement for your school robes, not this. Not black lace and silk that made you blush, just imagining wearing it. You blamed Fred entirely. The twins had a way of getting under your skin. Especially Fred. He made you laugh until your ribs hurt, pulled you into chaos of his world, then looked at you like you were the only person in the room. You weren't sure when it had turned into something more, but it had. You caught yourself lingering in the hallway when you heard his voice, or watching him from the corner of your eye when you thought he wasn't paying attention. But Fred always was paying attention. You didn't think he knew what he was doing to you, but when he winked at you during breakfast, when his hand brushed against yours a moment too long, during a prank setup, when he whispered something just for you in the middle of the crowded room, it made your heart shudder. Maybe that's why you brought it. You weren't planning to show anyone, obviously. It was just for you, a small, secret indulgence. Or so you thought. You were staying at the bar for the summer, and space was pretty limited. Molly had let you set up camp in Ginny's room since she was away visiting Hermione. The room was yours for the week. In the blissful few hours, one afternoon, the whole house was empty. That's when you tried it on. The mirror in the corner had seen better days, but it was honest. You stood before it in nothing but the sheer black lace and nerves. Your breath caught itself at the sight. You didn't recognize yourself. I mean, the way it fit you and hugged you in the right places and made you look confident, powerful. You turned slightly, admiring the way it framed your body, the cheeks warm with a self-conscious sort of pride. A sudden knock at your door startled you. You panicked. Just a second. Before you could even move, the door creaked open. Hey, YN. Mom said. Fred froze in the doorway. Your eyes met the mirror, and time stopped. Fred's mouth opened, then closed, and he looked like his entire brain had just disconnected right then and there. You freaked out a little bit and grabbed the nearest thing, a pillow, and held it against your chest. Fred, get out! You scolded. He just quickly seemed to be snapped out of his daze. I didn't know you were... He turned quickly, slamming the door shut behind him. You stood there. Silence. Pulse racing and mind spinning. Oh, Marilyn. He'd seen everything. You buried your face in your hands, groaning. You weren't sure whether you wanted to vanish from existence or cast a memory charm on him or yourself. You'd avoided him for the rest of the day. Every time you heard footsteps on the stairs, you fled to another room. You didn't come down for dinner. You were halfway through convincing yourself that maybe he hadn't really seen much. Maybe the pillow covered enough. When there was another knock at your door. YN? It was Fred. You hesitated. What? You answered back. Can I come in? The voice spoke. No, you said quickly, but then added unless you promise to knock next time. There was a pause. I did knock, he said dumbly. Knock and wait for an answer, you scolded. Noted, he said, his voice was sheepish. Can I come in now? You sighed and cracked the door of him. Fred stood there with both hands up in surrender, a red flush still staining his cheeks. Look, I'm sorry. I swear I wasn't trying to... Look, I didn't mean to... I know, you said quickly, cutting him off before he spiraled. He looked relieved. Okay, good, because I really didn't want to be the first time I saw you in lingerie to be by accident. You blinked. The first time? Fred's lips twitched. I mean, You looked amazing. Not that I was looking, but okay, I was looking, but I'm not proud of it. Or I am. Just not how I found out. I'm digging a hole here, am I? You laughed, despite yourself, and nerves bubbling out in the sound. A bit, yeah. Fred shifted, suddenly serious. Lan, you have no idea how long I've been trying to figure out if you like me the way I like you. Your heart thudded. I keep thinking I was like imagining it, but the way you look at me sometimes. But then today I realize I really don't want to say this, but I don't want to stay unsaid. You opened the door wider for him. Fred stepped inside slowly, like he might vanish if he moved too fast. So, do you like me? You nodded. He smiled, soft and real. Good. There was a pause. So, you said, glancing away, how about the, lingerie? Fred raised an eyebrow. Yeah? You bit your lip. I bought it because I kept wondering what it'd feel like to be that bold and confident, like the kind of person who could wear something like that for someone. You met its eyes. For you. Fred stepped closer. Lan, I've always thought you were bold, you just don't see it. He looked at him. He wasn't smirking now. He was just looking at you like you were something precious. Maybe you'll let me see it again? He asked, voice lower. You flushed. Maybe. He chuckled, and taking your hand and tucking it with his. Just so you know, I'd be thrilled if your secret involved me. He squeezed his hand. It already does. The next few days were a blur. Every moment you spent around Fred felt electric. Every brush of his hand, every look, every smile, charged with something unspoken, something that had only just begun to unravel between you. The tension had lingered for months, had shifted. There was still something there, but warmer now, more real. You were seeing each other differently, or maybe this was just more honestly. The twins had been working on a new batch of pranks when Fred had invited you to help test because, quote, because you're clever and devastatingly attractive, unquote. He had said that with a wink that made your knees weak. You chuckled, and threw a jelly slug at his head in response. Bede stayed. You always stayed. One afternoon, you sat crisscross applesauce on the floor of the twins' room, parchment strewn between you and Fred, and scribbling fake nonsense symbols for a fake hex that people temporarily, some like banshees. George had stepped out for lunch, and the room was unusually quiet for a change. You're distracting me, Fred said suddenly, eyes not leaving the parchment. You glanced up. I haven't said anything in 10 minutes. He smirked. Exactly. You rolled your eyes. You're hopeless. I am, he agreed, setting the quill down and shifting towards you. Hopelessly into you. You tried to scoff, but the blush gave you away. Fred leaned in closely. Still thinking about the other day? Yes. You hesitated, but then nodded. His hand found yours, warm and firm. I haven't stopped thinking about you. Not just the lace, but you standing there like you didn't even know how beautiful you were. Your throat tightened. He had a way of saying things that cracked you open in the gentlest way. I want to see you like that again, he whispered, his eyes searching yours. Not just because you looked good, though Marilyn you did, but because you looked like you felt something. Like it gave you power. You looked down at your intertwined hands. It did, a little, until I got caught. Fred chuckled but sobered quickly. Oh, and I'd never. Want to make you feel exposed. If you'd rather pretend it never happened. I don't, you interrupted, voice quiet but sure. I don't want to pretend. I beat past. Then what do you want? He asked. You hesitated but then met his gaze. I want to feel like that again. But maybe this time on purpose. His breath hitched. Yeah, he asked. You nodded. That night, the burr was bustling with chaos. Molly's dinner preparations, Ginny's return, and George's plan to turn Ron's hair bright green, which backfires Burr typically because he turned his own eyebrows purple instead. In the noise and the movement, you slipped away. You charmed the lock on Ginny's door. You needed a moment, just one little moment. You changed slowly this time, steadily. Now panic nourished nerves to black lace that still made your skin warm, but now it was with anticipation, not embarrassment. You pulled a robe over your shoulders loosely, leaving the ties undone. A gentle knock at the door made you freeze. Ryan? Fred's voice was soft. It's me. You opened it. His eyes flickered all over you, pausing at the bare skin beneath the open robe, and then back to your face. He didn't smirk this time, he just looked. Like he was trying to remember you. Hi, you said, breath catching. Hi, he echoed, stepping inside and closing the door behind him. For a long moment, neither of you spoke, and then Fred crossed the room slowly, giving you the time to stop him if you wanted to. You didn't. His hands came to rest on your waist. You sure about this, love? You nodded. I want you to see all of me. Fred smiled, eyes warm. Then let me. You let the robe slip from your shoulders, but he caught it gently, tossing it aside without looking away from you. Bloody hell, he murmured. You laughed, nerves tumbling out. He cupped his face, tilting it upwards. You are. Don't argue. Your cheeks burned, but you didn't argue. He kissed you, slow and relevant, like he had all the time in the world. His lips moved with a gentleness that surprised you. This was Fred Weasley, the prankster, the loud one, the firecracker. But here, with you, he was being so thoughtful. He pulled back enough to whisper, You make me want to be careful. Not because I think you're fragile, but because I think you matter. You closed your eyes and listened to his words. You didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but tonight you felt bold. Not because of the lace, and not because of the way he looked at you, but because of how you looked at yourself. And maybe you were just starting to believe him.